Hi, everybody. My name is David Rodriguez, and today I'm going to share a class about the present perfect. Okay, and the main aim is to ask and talk about experience. This would be the functional objective. Okay, other specific objectives would be practice talking about experiences and get familiar with the way natives contract have as an auxiliary. Okay, so the activity starts with the warm up, and for the warm up, the teacher requires a board and markers. The length of the activity is 10 minutes long, and the students will do a brainstorming session where they make a list of the board, a list on the board of past participle verbs they know. Okay, the teacher starts the class with past participle verbs because this is the tense the verb has to be in order to use the present perfect. And so we start with the grammar approach, but it's mainly to activate schemata and see what students know and see what students don't know. Okay, after the warm up, we have the presentation. Sorry, we have the presentation. The presentation is 10 minutes long. The teacher uses past participles as a springboard to jump into the next topic. Okay, and the teacher explains the topic, explains that the verb must be in the past participle tense in order to use the present perfect. The teacher provides examples of both questions and answers. And then the students do an activity in their workbook to check comprehension. And afterwards, the teacher checks the answers with students. Okay, this is something very simple. Okay, another way to do this, what I normally do, is that I don't normally explain what I do is I provide a lot of examples, and I ask them to identify patterns. Okay, and I use a deductive approach, and I ask questions about the patterns, and I see how well they understood the topic based on their answers. Okay, so I am applying formative assessment strategies right there. Okay, after the presentation comes the practice. Okay, students get in groups of three and play the board game. The idea is that students ask questions in the present perfect to ask about experiences. See Appendix A. So let's see, Appendix A is right. Oh my god, what am I doing? Appendix A is. Ah, dear God. Is down here. And it says talk about your experiences. Okay, and down here it says someone interesting you've met today. So the question would be, have you met anyone interesting today? Or yeah, and the students would answer yes. I I've met or I met certain person today and she was really interesting. I had a good time. Okay. The next question would be an interesting show you've seen on TV recently. The question could be, what interesting TV shows have you seen recently, or what interesting movies have you seen recently? Okay, so the students would talk about these two questions and answers. Talk about something you've given someone recently. Okay, so in this case, students would ask each other questions until they reach the end of the board game. Okay, for this activities to the teacher would have to bring in dice and game markers. Okay, for the students to to play, but it's not really necessary. I mean, sometimes I just use a coin and I say heads is one space and tails is two spaces, and students would flip the coin, and depending on that they would move one or two spaces, and it's a little better like that because sometimes dice, I mean, if the board game isn't really big, you go around the board in a matter of turns. Okay, so in this case it would keep the activity going, it would keep students speaking, which is the idea. Okay, let's go back to, sorry, I don't think you could see me. Let's go back to, so students get in groups of threes and play the board game. Okay, you can do this for about 20 minutes. Students probably will not have finished by then, but uh, you can stop them because we really have to continue with production. The production phase, it lasts 20 minutes long. Really, the teacher doesn't require a lot of preparation material, but I mean, it's possible that a teacher can bring situation flashcards where there is a certain situation and students have to act that out. Or, I mean, the role play situation can be an open topic, I mean, surrounding present perfect, and yes, so it really doesn't matter if you don't have situation flashcards. Students can just create their own situations. So it says teacher has students create a role play using the present perfect. The teacher calls on two students at a time to present their role play. One asks and the other answers, and vice versa. Okay. After this, we move on to assessment. The whole class is the assessment. It's not just assessment at the end, 5, 10. I assess the whole class. The assessment done in this class is formative. Students are being assessed on an ongoing basis. In my classes, assessment is part of the learning process. Sometimes at the end of the class, I like to do a short 5-minute self-assessment session where students talk about how they did and how they can improve, and I tell them if I agree or I disagree with them. Okay, but hardly anyone ever says that they did bad. Okay, and the last activity is the assignment. Okay, the homework assignment. Students write sentences about their experiences and record them. Students submit their sentences and audios to the following blog. It's a working blog, so you can click on it and it'll take you to my blog, which I used to use at the university, but now we have a platform, so I haven't been using it that much lately. The students would have to present their sentences orally next class. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. And students would record themselves on some type of platform where they can just upload the audio, and the platform will give them a link, which they would then post on the blog. Okay. Well, this is the class regarding present perfect, and I hope you like it, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video.